Every year, millions of people all over the world are victims of domestic violence. Let's see how COVID-19 pandemic affected domestic violence.
Governments worldwide had imposed lockdowns to contain the coronavirus. But those same restrictions have increased the risk associated with domestic violence, especially for women, children, and LGBTQ plus individuals.
Some might get wondered what the Q in LGBTQ stands for. The first four letters of this standard abbreviation are fairly straightforward: lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. The Q can stand for questioning, as in still exploring one's sexuality.
How have lockdowns influenced rates of domestic violence? Data from many regions already suggests significant increases in domestic violent cases, particularly among marginalized populations. Take for example the Middle East and North Africa, which have the world's fewest laws protecting women from domestic violence.
An analysis by UN Women of the gendered impact of COVID-19 in the Palestinian territories found an increase in gender-based violence and warned that the pandemic will likely disproportionately affect women, exacerbate pre-existing gendered risks and vulnerabilities and widen inequalities. In Latin American countries such as Mexico and Brazil, a spike in calls to hotlines in the past 2 months suggests an increase in domestic abuse. Meanwhile, a drop in formal complaints in countries such as Chile and Bolivia is likely due to movement restrictions and the inability or hesitance of women to seek help or report through official channels, according to the United Nations and local prosecutors.
In China, police officers in the city of Jingsha received 3 times as many domestic violence cases this past February as in the same time in 2019. Some high and middle income countries such as Australia, France, Germany, South Africa, and United States have also reported significant increase in reports of domestic violence since the COVID-19 outbreak.
In India, the National Commission for Women, which receives various complaints on domestic violence, has been a net upsurge in the number of complaints during the lockdown, which was instituted because of the novel coronavirus. A data from NCW shows that 587 complaints were received from March 23rd to April 16th, out of which 239 associated to domestic violence. The number of complaints on domestic violence was 123 from February 23rd to March 22nd, which has now risen to 239.
It is important to remember that domestic violence was a global pandemic before the COVID-19 outbreak. According to the data collected by the United Nations, 243 million women and girls between the ages of 15 and 49 worldwide were subjected to sexual or physical violence by an intimate partner in the last 12 months. Put a different way, 1 in 3 women has experienced physical or sexual violence at some point in her life. LGBTQ plus individuals experience similar high levels of violence.
Today, rising number of sick people, growing unemployment, increased anxiety and financial stress, and the scarcity of community resources have set the stage for an exacerbated domestic violence crisis. Many victims find themselves isolated in violent homes without access to resources or friend and family networks. Abusers could experience heightened financial pressures and stress, increase the consumption of alcohol or drugs, and purchase or hoard guns as an emergency measure. Experts has categorized an invisible pandemic of domestic violence during the COVID-19 crisis as a ticking time bomb or a perfect storm.
What can countries do to protect those at risk of domestic violence amid the pandemic? As the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights and United Nations has emphasized, countries must incorporate a gender perspective in their response to the COVID-19 crisis.
Several countries and non-governmental organizations have already taken innovative steps in this direction. New campaigns also use social media to spread awareness of resources available to survivors, including hotlines, text message based reporting, and mobile applications.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video,
Hit the like button and make sure to subscribe for more.